Is this live?
I don't think it is.
Oh yeah, Facebook Live right there on the Real Estate Dude Facebook page.
Oh, it is live.
It is. Yeah.
Oh man, look at
this.
that.
Look, we even got the Real Estate Dude podcast. This looks like crap. Honestly, I did it, so hopefully someone sees it on the video and it's like, let me come do that for you. And yes, please, I need the help.
That's great.
Okay, thanks for doing this, man.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
It's a pleasure.
It's a nice to meet you. I think we met one other time.
Yep, B&I. But I mean, the Facebook world.
Yeah.
It's like people's names start to overlap, and then you start to see them in your network, and before you know it, it's like, oh yeah, I know that guy. Well, I don't think I've ever met him.
Not to mention Alaska in itself. I'm from Vegas, so Alaska in itself. It's crazy how many people I know that I've never met.
Yeah.
And everyone else knows them.
Yeah.
Like it's the tightest circle. Everyone's 1 degree of separation here. I feel like. Just one. Where normally it's like 3 or 4.
It's good, but it's got its bad. It's got its bad. Don't get me wrong.
Reputation is so important.
Carries you and follows you everywhere.
You mess up one time.
Yep.
You're done.
Yep. And Alaska, north to south, it's a small state. Even though it's the biggest, it's a small state. You run into people.
What is there? 350,000 people just in this area?
Oh yeah, right.
I was in Vegas for New Year's Eve this year. There was 150,000 people, or sorry, 350,000 people just on the strip.
Just in the area.
This one road, there's as many people as, like, if all of us went down to Anchorage downtown, right? It's crazy. That really put into perspective for me for like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, there's nobody here.
I went to one concert in Arizona, and there was 20,000 people at the concert. And I was just like mind blown by it. At no point in my entire life in Alaska has there been one concentration of humans in one place.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you just said it, from Alaska.
Yeah, born and raised.
You've seen Gary Vaynerchuk's podcast,
of course,
right?
Of course.
It's my favorite way to do it. He says comic book number 1. So like, the very basics. Tell me about Bobby Burns. That's your name, right?
Yeah.
Or is it like Robert?
Nope, Bobby Burns.
Bobby Burns. I dig
it. Named after my grandfather. So it's one of those names at first didn't really love it. And then as growing up, I was like, oh man, it's a cheesy name. But then, you grow to like those things because you gain some respect for it and some appreciation.
It's got a little history behind it, and it's one you don't forget.
It rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Eventually I realized.
So tell me more while I put these microphones up, because I forgot to attach them.
Well, Bobby Burns. I was born in the old Elmendorf Hospital.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So my grandfather came up here military. Are we mounting them?
Yeah, absolutely. Your grandfather came up here military?
Yeah, grandfather, and so my mom's side came up here in the military. My father was just getting away from the East Coast. And so he got in a van with his friends and came all the way across the country to Alaska.
Just like, that sounds cool.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, it's something you read about, but no, he did it. I was like, okay.
Yeah. It's surprising how many stories like that are in Alaska. Where, like, one crazy ancestor was like, Alaska sounds cool, and now the rest of your family's been here.
That's right. I mean, you go and living in Palmer, every family's a colony family if they've been there for any substantial amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you start realizing it's a norm, and it's okay, it's cool. A lot of military people come up here and then love it and stay, right?
Yeah.
Can't blame them.
Every time I say, I got out of the military and then came here, they're like, oh, you were stationed at Fort Richardson then, right?
No, I actually just came here. But you were here before, because if you were born in the old Elmendorf.
Military though, so I was like
military.
2 years old maybe when I left.
Oh, okay.
So I don't remember anything.
Okay.
So, but
that's cool.
So growing up here, my favorite part, just like Gary Vaynerchuk always talks about, tell me about like what kind of kid were you? Like, if you locked yourself into a room.
Oh man.
At 10 years old, what would you have done for fun?
Draw.
Okay.
Yeah, at 10, I was pretty good still. I was a good kid still. I wasn't doing anything bad yet, being a teenager yet. So
at 10, Palmer, we know some of that bad stuff.
At 10, I would definitely draw. I was the kid in school. If you guys remember back in high school, where you sit down and it's like everyone's listening to class. You got that one kid in the back corner just drawing on his paper. That was me. Like that's all I did in school. I didn't know anybody in school. I just drew.
It's such a huge tell the more I ask people that question, because at 10 years old you would draw in the back of the classroom. Now, what, 30 years old?
Yep, 35. Yep.
What are you doing now? Designing art, right?
It was the obvious. It wasn't obvious, but always growing up a creative, loving to draw, paint, just be creative and express that way. The idea of being a professional artist, was quickly, reality set in pretty fast.
Yeah.
That's the struggling artist is the term for a reason. And I want to say it was like 14 when like Photoshop fell into my world. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then I learned about this thing called graphic design. Yep. And from there I was like, that's what I'm gonna do, because that's my creative way to make a real living and be a
So have you done that your whole life, pretty much?
For the most part, professionally about a decade.
Okay.
Or even a little longer now, closer to 12 years.
Okay.
I was military for 4 years as a firefighter.
Okay.
Went in as air traffic control, and then before that I was in the cabinet industry, doing custom woodworking with my father.
Okay.
So it was like, I was hands-on, it was creative, it was cool.
That's interesting, because all of that falls into place except for the little military stint there.
Right.
The military stint, even air traffic control is like,
yeah,
like that sticks out.
But that's how the military does. You go in there, don't matter what you're interested in.
Yeah.
Like, let me see your scores. Okay, here's some jobs that are good for you. And like air traffic control was on that list, and I was like, well, that's a 6-figure salary or a 6-figure salary. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my brother does right now. He joined the Army air traffic control. Now he's up in Fairbanks air traffic control. Man, and he loves it though. It's perfect for him. So
I didn't make it through simulations.
It's one of the toughest jobs in the military. It's high stress.
Did not make it through simulations.
Yeah, and then you add the military layer on top of that. What branch?
Air Force.
Okay. I thought you said you joined the military though.
Fair, Air Force. That's fair.
But even still, the military is stressful. Then you add one of the most stressful jobs in the military on top of it.
Yeah, it can be for
Makes
sure.
sense.
For sure. And it was actually a stress-related thing that ended up. They took me from air traffic control. Like, you could go be a firefighter, and like night and day. Night and day.
Completely night and day.
Yeah.
And so, did you sign a 4-year contract? That's why you did 4 years?
No, I did a 6-year, but then when I was in Okinawa, there was an opportunity to go back home, and
jumped on it.
took it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Just looking at your life story, that in this short amount of time, it makes perfect sense why you would make that decision.
Yeah.
Like, that's the part that is like, you did what?
I was very career oriented when I went in,
Okay.
and I thought it was like everything I was gonna do. I quickly felt like the military was bureaucratic in politics, and it wasn't what I thought it was going in. I went in post 9/11, talking to people who were in before 9/11, and then like their comparison of the post and before, and they're like, it's just not the same.
100%.
And I had nothing to compare it to, but it wasn't what I thought it would be.
Right.
I didn't dislike the military. It's probably one of the best choices I ever made for my personal growth.
Yeah.
But
I'm 100% on that train, and I love what they're doing. They're changing the retirement system.
Oh, well, I'm not familiar, no.
401k system, pretty much.
Okay.
Rather than a pension system, it's a 401k.
Nice.
I love it because I'm in the same boat as you. Like, not for me, and one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Yeah.
So now you don't have to, like, that 6 years of what I did, or the 4 years of what you did, you came out of it with some education and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Or really no, like, investment or retirement savings unless you did it on your own terms.
For me, the military was a step up.
Yeah.
It was, and I mean, that's probably because I was in the Air Force. The Air Force. So I mean, like my experience in a deployment was I went to Ali Asal in Kuwait.
Okay.
I sat on the airfield and I watched C-130s take off, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
And you don't say that when you go to the desert.
Yeah, chilling.
I was like,
what are you doing tonight? Going to get prime rib for dinner.
yeah, we're going to have Subway, go do laps around the base.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
it was a working vacation. It
Right.
was like, I don't hold myself to a regard. Like, I was deployed. No,
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for your deployment. No.
Yeah.
No.
You don't understand.
I sat on the airfield, man. Like, there's people who really, really.
Yeah, actually get out there and do it.
They did it.
But okay, so military, then you jump back out. So you had the opportunity to come back.
Yeah.
Was there an opportunity you were chasing, or is just the military saying like, hey, you can go if you want?
Yeah, no, I was not pursuing anything. I actually landed back in Alaska with no clue what I was going to do with myself.
I love this story already.
I had not a clue. And that's where things like maybe didn't follow any particular path. met up with a lot of old friends who weren't great friends. So, you know, life took a downturn at that point.
Okay.
And then that was like, well, you know, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. There was going nowhere fast, though. Then I got back into school. So I was working with Mama Man. Anyone who's ever worked with their father would probably be able to understand this, but it's really hard.
No, working with families
taught me a lot. Don't get me wrong. Some of the best lessons in my life and the trade I know now. You know, the ability to always fall back into carpentry and work with wood. You know, it's forever ingrained, and it's something I'm super thankful to have.
Right.
But yeah, working with your father is really difficult. So after one of our big blowouts in the shop one day, I was like, you know what? I'm going back to school, graphic design. Here I come.
Throw a chair? Please tell me you threw a chair.
It was not a chair.
Like, what's
it
that
was
motorcycle show?
You're
at a cabinet show. Of course, it was all a cabinet.
Broke a cabinet into pieces. It was like, yeah, I'm done.
So after that, you were like, I'm getting back to graphic design.
Yep.
I'm getting back to the roots.
Yep. Okay. That's when I kind of like jumped back into it. You know, that's after going through my teens, rollerblading around Alaska and being on like teams and skating for a company called Revolution Skate out of Juneau, Alaska.
Okay.
And so we were doing like our crew t-shirts, and I was making these brands for this, you know, doing all this stuff. And I was like 14, you know?
Yeah.
And we were having like skate events at the Anchorage Skate Park. It was like I was already doing it.
So you were always there. There was always
I was already doing it. There was no doubt. And it wasn't until later that I realized, like, even myself, I put it all together. And so graphic design eventually led into more brand development.
Okay.
You know, people were like, hey, I need you to do my logo. And then it just kind of continued to blossom.
One of those things where, like, someone would ask your, I don't know if you had a coach, but your coach, hey, who makes your t-shirts? And then they come to you and like, hey, you made those t-shirts. I need you to make this for me.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. And so the request kept growing. At one point, I ventured off. I was working with some local agencies, working out of Anchorage.
Yep.
I ventured off to be a caretaker with my grandmother, and I kind of worked out of my home for a while. Spun up a couple different brands of my own, a couple t-shirt companies, just random things here and there. And eventually landed with the company I'm with now in Palmer, Alapex Interaction Design.
Which I don't know much about the graphic design / agency market in Alaska.
Right.
And I know that Alapex is one of the top contenders for as far as mind share.
We like to think that, right? Like, I mean, it's definitely the goal.
Right.
Something we find is, and it's pretty standard, we're seeing this change now in the marketplace, but similar to other industries, there's a huge dated factor where people are just not thinking forward, they haven't adopted new technologies, they haven't adopted just the new standard for how we build brands and get ourselves out there.
Right.
You know, frequently having to push back with clients on why they need to use social media. And I'm sorry, I know you can't stand it, but this is business in the new world.
When I got into real estate, literally, and it's still one of the things that's pushed the most, is it's called a 33 touch system. And it's where you like call once a quarter, which is standard, right? It's pretty good. Calling everyone you have base once a quarter, maintaining those relationships important.
Yeah.
But the other, I'd say 24 of those touches is an email every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
No social media posts, which, I mean, now it's kind of twisting a little bit, but when I first got in, it was no push on social media, no push on anything. It was a thank you card, 1 random act of kindness, 4 calls, and a bulk of email.
Yep.
And that's like very standard, I think, throughout most industries of like, we're still in the email age.
Yeah. And I mean, like, a lot of industries are not adopting email, but email was like, what, 15, maybe 20 years ago was when emails became like adopted into the normal part of the day.
Yeah, like 99 to 2005.
Yeah, and so, I mean, like, we're not even that far away from that.
Yeah.
At least in my head. I don't know. Time starts flying, so. But I'm like, it's only, you know, it's been a couple decades, but now where it's like emails, you email me a bunch, man, you're getting on the block list. You're on a blacklist.
You slow down.
Yeah, you filling up my inbox. You filling up my inbox, and I don't like it.
Right, it's just business in there. Not a lot of promotions. I mean, I can't tell you the last time, other than my Costco emails. I like my Costco emails.
Yeah.
But other than that, I can't remember the last time I looked at an email. The promotion tab specifically on Gmail to be like, I wonder what's going on in my world.
I don't think ever.
Yeah.
But that's like, you know, that's just proof. You know, that there's some dated factors to even that effort.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So my question for you is social media. If you just say that, it can mean a million things.
Yeah, of course.
So, like, what do you mean by it's important to market using social media in today's market? I said market twice.
Well, one, I'm not a believer in cookie cutter or anything.
Okay.
I don't think that there's one direct path that works for everybody.
100%.
Yeah, there's
100%.
nothing's that finite. And I really believe that to be true in marketing. You know, I see it every single day in my scroll or in my email accounts where people are promoting their ClickFunnels or people are promoting their guaranteed foolproof angle to generate more leads.
Just pay me $1,000.
And I'm just sitting here with like face palming, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no, there's no one answer, no one solution. And I
Okay.
think most people know that in their business, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have this type of a business, I do this type of a thing, here's my niche, and it's different, and it's why this works, and I have to promote it differently, and I have to market myself different. And
So let's say I'm a real estate agent, 1 week in the business. I come to Bobby Burns and I'm like, yo, I want to have a hit on social media. I don't know where to start though. Brand new in real estate. What's your recommendation for me?
brand new in real estate, you haven't even established yourself in the local
Nothing.
world,
Just started.
Make a Facebook group. Don't even bother with building the page in your brand yet.
Okay.
Build a real estate Facebook group of professionals and other people who are interested in real estate.
Okay.
Get that group as big as you can, 100,000 people.
Okay.
It's realistic, it doesn't have to stay local.
Right.
You can just start local.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that group, you start pushing your brand in it.
Okay.
And then you start plugging your brand into it.
Okay.
And then you attach your name, which people have seen in this group from day one.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you're 3 or 4 posts a day in this group about real estate, and then all of a sudden it start being attached to a brand.
Mm-hmm.
And the connection's being made. And then one day you're like, hey, go check out my Facebook page. I mean, this is a few month venture.
Right. And work. You're like you said,
You're
3 or
working.
4 times a day you're
Yep,
posting.
You're working.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but you're going into it with the goal of building a digital brand or a brand that's easily recognizable.
Right.
In different digital realms.
Right.
And by that point, you know, you could kick up a Facebook page that, you know, 3 months down the line and have 4,000 followers behind it.
So
Like that.
you want me to post 3 or 4 times a day into this group? I got no business though.
Nope.
Like I'm brand new in the industry.
Nope.
What do I post about?
Whatever you know about the industry, you make yourself a authority on the topic. That's how I use social media, and that's how I try and explain to my clients in many cases. There's 2 things I'm always explaining. This is where you become an authority: your blog and your social media. And when you're an authority and people, you know, you're in that top of mind place,
Right.
that's when the phone call starts happening.
Right.
That's when you start getting the business.
Right.
You're not going to have to promote and do sales to try and incentivize people coming in. People are calling you because you're the authority. You're comfortable knowing you know what you do, and you know your angles.
Right.
And so that's kind of like my approach. Coincidentally, I haven't actually done that in marketing local. I've done it like other niche, you know, t-shirts and oil slope or oil workers.
Yeah.
I did a t-shirt design, built an entire group of oil workers, and then started plugging it with my t-shirt designs. And then all the oil field workers would like buy up my t-shirts because they were like funny little catchy t-shirts.
Huh. Interesting. But really, so what you're saying is that's where you engage. Like that's where the attention is you get that group to add value, right? And then they're going to be coming to it for, in this case, real estate advice.
Yeah.
And then you start plugging slowly but surely real estate.
Do you have a private real estate group that with a bunch of realtors, and it's like only the realtors and stuff, and it's, I mean, I know real estate's a very competitive game.
Yeah.
So it would actually surprise me if that was working, but it wouldn't.
People have tried.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but for the most part, it's a weird dynamic of we're all together and separate. Right?
Yeah.
We're all business owners and we're here to support each other and we have to work together. And I want to take all your business because it means more business for me.
Yeah.
So it's a competitive and
It is a weird
teamwork
dynamic.
environment.
Yeah. But I mean, that is real estate, and that is pretty. But
Yeah.
that's the norm.
Yeah.
I've seen that over and over again.
Okay. So your first step would say day 1 Facebook group. Bow. Get it out there.
Yeah.
And grow it.
Yeah.
How do you grow it? By sharing it in other groups? Boost the group? How do we do
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I mean, it's a manual love. It's a manual effort. labor of love or whatever they call it.
Okay. Yeah.
But you're getting out there and you're sharing it.
Okay.
One of the things, and Gary Vee actually says this, right? It works great on Instagram. And Instagram, you know, it's kind of right there with Facebook.
$1.80 strategy? Are you about to go into it?
No. I'm actually, the dude's telling guys, you get on there and you look up people and you look up hashtags that are trending that are applicable to your market. You look at people who are posting on those hashtags a lot.
Yeah.
And you DM them. You just hit them directly. Right in the DMs. Like, what's up, y'all? I'm from Alaska. My name is Bobby. This is what I do. Wanted to just kick the cup a bit, see what you were about. It works. People will engage that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's authentic.
Right.
If it doesn't feel like a pitch, it doesn't feel like contrived. It's just, hey, I'm a person, and you're a person, and I actually really want to talk to you. I respect you, and you know you're doing something right. I would love to pick your mind. I've actually had that exact line. Message people and be like, you know, I like what you're doing. I would like to talk to you about this. Can I buy you a coffee? Can I take you out to lunch? Incentivize it, right? A little bit.
Right.
I want to cover their time. They're professionals.
But I think you get the attention there because if you're on Instagram, right? How many people comment on your photos?
Everyone I get engagements, but I don't post a lot. I don't.
Okay.
I'm not, it's fine. I do this. But I don't do this. You know, I talk the talk, but I don't walk the walk in this situation. I don't have no problem saying that. Our business social media strategy is on point. Our Facebook is, you know, a couple thousand. Instagram's a couple thousand. Like, you know, we have people in place. My personal's not used for that.
Right.
So,
which you don't always have to build the personal side as long as you have
a little different.
The back end brand.
Yeah.
But even still, like the average person, you post a random picture of your kids or your food, your new outfit or anything like that, you get 100 likes and 6 comments, maybe. Sure. So you pay attention to those 6 comments. You're not going to remember who does the 100 likes, and that's why. That's why that works, is because you took the time to comment on it.
Absolutely.
And then you take it a step further, and then you DM them too. 100%, they're at least going to read it.
It worked. That is 100% true.
Yeah,
like, for sure. You know, I was doing a dog page for an Instagram for a dog.
So you're building like another brand, or you're doing it for yourself?
No, it's for another brand. No, it's for someone else actually. Believe it or not, and it's for their dog. And it's like, you know, they have an angle and they're not wrong. And their dog is cute as hell. And they're on top of it, so it's gonna work probably. And they're like, but how do I do this? And I'm like, just start posting some stuff and use some hashtags, some of the bigger hashtags, and people will see it. That's what Instagram's great about, you know.
Right. 100%.
Facebook's really manual, right? You gotta like get out there and share it and get it in front of people or promote it. Instagram, man, you use your hashtags and you can just put it right in front of people. Just slide it right there. There you go.
People are following hashtags or looking hashtags up.
Our third post with them, it was the third post on their Instagram account. 2 videos and 1 still. And Purina dog food brands has already reached out. Because we tagged them on all 3 posts.
That's crazy.
All 3 posts. Like you looking for?
That's a cute ass dog. Is it that ugly dog, the little taco dog? You know?
No, it's a cute little husky, a little Alaska dog. It would be perfect. And they're doing the whole Alaska thing. The owner is actually a multi-champion Iditarod winner.
Okay.
And so it'll all be a thing.
If that's the Alaskan story there.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
The Alaskan husky. Yeah.
It's a fun one.
So we've talked Facebook, we've talked Instagram. I'm new in the industry, right? 1 week. Are those the 2 I hit?
Yeah, especially in Alaska. What do you mean? Because Alaska's slow to adoption at almost everything. even technologies. True. Even though I'm sitting here, we're having a conversation, and there's people outside of Alaska who are watching live. For some reason, we're still delayed. So things still get adopted slow here. And demographics are super important.
Okay.
So when it comes to social media, they're very demographically associated.
Okay.
Facebook's the broadest and covers the most.
Absolutely.
A lot of your younger demographics are starting to pull away from Facebook, and we're finding it to be an older demographic.
Yep.
Facebook numbers are also declining as a whole. It's fair. It's just kind of what's happening. Snapchat, for instance, though. Snapchat's, if you want to get in front of someone, you know, 16 to 25, like Snapchat it up.
Yeah.
And I'm on there like, I don't know what to do with this. I just use filters to take stupid pictures.
Yeah.
Like,
Look like a puppy.
Yeah. But they have the stories, they have the feeds.
Yeah.
So they're introducing a lot of ways to inject content in front of people.
Right.
And that's what you're there for. You want those platforms because it gives you the ability to put your content in front of people who normally wouldn't see it.
So in real estate, you're saying Facebook and Instagram, but based on, I mean, maybe you're selling T-shirts. Maybe Snapchat is a way to get on there and sell some T-shirts. So Snapchat and Instagram, or a mix of the kind of younger. What about TikTok? You ever play with TikTok?
TikTok's the new Vine. You know, it will work. Vine was already super successful. It just they couldn't figure out that ability to monetize without just inundating with ads.
And TikTok has already done it. They're already getting it.
They already figured it out. All right. So TikTok is here to stay, and it's going to continue to grow. It's already seeing huge uptake in the European market and in the Asian markets. So it's really coming down to. It is coming here. Right now, it is definitely like the 16 to 25 demographic still. I put it in the same basket as Snapchat right now. That could change. I don't see many advertisers jumping on TikTok yet, and not unless their brand directly appeals to that demographic.
Right.
So,
like, I don't think I'm going to sell a house off of TikTok.
Probably not.
Facebook, Instagram, good chance. Yeah. TikTok, maybe in 10 years.
What about Pinterest?
I've never done anything with Pinterest.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. You go and sit down with the new client, right? And husband and wife, and they're like, you know, this is what we want. We're looking for a new house, and the wife wants to show you examples. What is she showing you?
Pinterest.
Yeah. Pinterest examples. So for me, I'm like, if you're in real estate, if you're in the housing, if you're in remodeling, any of this, you belong on Pinterest, and people don't even realize it because that is where everybody's going for their inspiration, their ideas.
But I've never, and I haven't done a lot on Pinterest, but I've never looked at who actually posts the pin.
That's fair.
So I could see a value if, like, your pin redirects them to your website, and then you retarget them based on website traffic.
Yep.
That would make sense.
That would make sense.
But as far as branding just on Pinterest, is that even a thing?
Absolutely.
I mean,
and you said it exactly. You especially with Pinterest, you're not going to use it to directly monetize leads and I want to sell this property.
Right.
And Pinterest is not going to be your platform to sell that property. What Pinterest will do is associate you, Realtor X, with $500,000 plus properties.
Right.
Because you are always posting those type of homes.
Right.
So therefore, your brand is associated with that level of the housing market.
Right.
When people are on there looking at their new kitchens for their new house or the remodels coming up, you're constantly popping up with beautiful kitchens and beautiful homes. And you know, Alex, your local Alaskan realtor.
Yeah.
It's cheesy, but that is how you use that platform.
Right.
It's all photo centric. You know,
Right.
you lead with the photos and
Yeah.
you just associate yourselves to them.
Similar to Instagram and different.
Very similar to Instagram and different. You're right. Instagram is definitely more about the hashtag game and directly injecting, but with that type of media still.
Okay.
You could do a for sale post on Instagram though, and potentially see traction with it.
You're gonna get me on a high horse right now. That is all I see. Obviously, I'm in real estate. I follow a million realtors.
Yeah.
All I see is under contract, or for sale, or like how many times do you only see a picture of your client, man? Like, it's cool. It's brand recognition. I see the value, and I understand why people are posting it. And I'm like, I want to unfollow all these people because that's all I see. Like, what?
It's great. I guess it's great if you're in the market. If I'm in market to buy, sure. Show me all the new deals once a week, or you know.
But if I sell you a house and you just finished signing the paperwork, and I'm like, take a picture, Bobby, bow, post on Instagram. What does that do for anyone other than me? Yeah, it's a picture of me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's kind of like for your followers of like, hey, look, I'm still doing it. Like, I'm still active. I'm in it every day. But man,
there is definitely something to what that picture does for your brand as the realtor. There's no doubt. A lot of what we see now are people who are like, I facilitate their happiness, or I helped to facilitate this level of happiness, and that's kind of the angle they're trying to take with those shots and stuff. I've even seen that in car sales actually.
Right.
Like literally, a friend of mine in Anchorage who sells cars takes a picture with his client every time he sells a new car.
Which, so I can see the value of it. You take a picture, we take a picture, bam, and then I write a blog post underneath the Instagram of like, this is the story, this is what we worked through, this is how I ended, like that kind of thing would be cool. But normally it's like, look at me, another happy client. Like 3 sentences later and we're done. And so really, I'm getting on a high horse because I've been trying to think about how to add value behind my close clients. And my current idea is to sit them right where you're sitting and be like, we just went through this process. Tell me what you learned, what you would change, what you did better, different, you know what I mean? Someone is sitting down, they're about to be in the market. What would you tell them? What piece of advice would you give?
Right?
You know what I mean? How do you add that value with your close clients rather than just a picture? And so maybe it's a blog post underneath or something like that, but all I see, and the same picture with the same emojis every time, and I'm like, and that's why I asked you the question of what do I post, because everyone's posting the same thing, because there's, in real estate, closed clients and houses. That's about all you got, right?
Yeah, but there's a lot of aspects. I always look at blog posting and social media posting as an opportunity to tell something to your client that you normally won't have the opportunity to tell them. What is that one thing that you wish you could have told them before they ever called you?
Yeah.
Tell them in a post. Tell them in a blog. As a matter of fact, writing blogs are really important, and that's usually the go-to in the blogs. I'm like, this is your 5 things you should know before calling a realtor. You know, if that's not a blog post, it should be already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, someone should do that.
Yeah. Nudge, nudge.
Yeah, like, seriously. 5 things you should know before you call a realtor. 5 things you should know about different mortgage lenders.
Right.
You know.
So I'm with you 100%, and I would love to do that. And if you saw me write a blog post, you wouldn't get through half of it because I am so bad at writing. You'd be like, how many? Are you a football fan?
I'm not actually.
You know who Antonio Brown is,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
He just went into college, so he got kicked out of the NFL, went back into college, and then posted on Twitter, yo, I need help with my English paper. And there was like 15 grammar and spelling errors in a Twitter post of 160 characters. That would be me. You'd be like, how does he fit so many spelling errors and grammar errors in one sentence? You want me to read the blog?
Oh, honestly, that's my problem too.
So that's what this is for me, though.
Yep.
Like, and just self-awareness. This is my realm. Like, I love being here.
Yeah.
So now we can 5 things you should know before you call a realtor, and then break it out into each piece, or you know what I mean, just video. But transcribing that into words, man, you don't want to see that.
There is technical reasons why the words are good too.
Okay.
So it's SEO, it's search engine optimization.
Okay.
You know, when your blog is on your website. So the way our browsers work, you know, there's web crawlers, and they go through all the websites and all our web pages.
Okay.
And if they can read the text, because it's, you know, actually there, it's not in an image, it's actual text there, then it can associate that text with search criteria.
And then it brings you up higher on Google?
Well, it gives you a whole lot of text that potentially makes you relevant to more searches now.
Okay.
So it's that keyword thing, right? Where like I have a sentence of 500 characters, and there's so much keyword and phrasing there, and all these searches that are taking place on the internet are going to look at that phrasing and try and see if it's applicable to that search.
So I have an argument here, and that's, I agree with you. SEO is important, and if I want to be relevant to home search in Alaska, there's no way I'm competing with Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin. Like, there's not a chance I'm gonna be.
They put money into their
millions into Alaska specifically, and then billions into California, billions and billions and billions. So there's no way I'm gonna be at the top of that chain, like those keywords of home search or homes in Alaska or homes. And then let's say for some reason they fall off the bill. There's all kinds of real estate teams that also have more budget than me. Like, there's no way I'm getting ahead of them too, because these people spend millions, these people then spend thousands, and I got like $20 that I can put behind home searches in Alaska. And so, is that really the best place to spend my time? Like, I understand the importance of blog posts, but I'm all about like the retargeting. You know what I mean? Because there's no way.
And this is where it comes down to, there's no one answer for any one situation.
Yeah.
It really is what works to accomplish the goals for you.
Right.
And I mean, quite literally. So similar to when you sit down with a client, or you know, you're asking them, and you go through that initial meeting of like, what do you want out of a home?
Yeah.
what are you looking, how long do you want to live here? Where do you want it? How many rooms?
Right.
What's the goal?
Right.
My conversation is the same.
Mm-hmm.
What's the goal? What are you trying to accomplish by us sitting?
It's the first question you asked me before you.
It's like, so what's the goal with the podcast? Yeah, it's true, because that's how we start thinking about what's the right solution and the right strategy to get them there.
Right.
If my goal is to be the next Gary Vee, you need to do it all. Just open up the checkbook, start cutting checks to everyone you can.
So answer me this. My question, I don't give a fuck about metrics.
Yeah?
How do you feel about cursing? I'm sorry.
No, I don't care.
I offended you. Perfect.
I'm
I do it on the podcast. So I don't care at all about metrics.
Yeah.
How many likes, how many followers, how many anything. I don't care about it. All I care about is using social media to sell homes.
Okay.
So what's the best thing to do to specifically sell homes? I don't care if one person sees my post, as long as that one person wants to buy. How do I become the most relevant source of information using social media? It doesn't have to be real estate. I just use real estate.
Build your metrics. Build the metrics up.
Okay.
So you don't have to care about the numbers.
Okay.
But the numbers are the reality. That is where it's at. So you could post, and if 0 people see it, that post will not sell anything.
Right.
Then you get into the numbers game. I could post and put it in front of $100,000 using a paid system, but only like 3 people is that post actually relevant to.
Okay.
And then you could do the little bit more traditional route, a little bit more of the organic, boots on the ground route.
Okay.
This is you're building a following. You don't care about the following, or maybe that's not the right way to phrase that. You're not trying to get 200,000. You'd rather have 1,000 people follow your account, but those 1,000 people be relevant in what you say relevant to them. You're providing value.
Right.
That is it. That's how you're going to get your social media to convert the most.
Okay.
It's literally by and you already know this.
Yeah.
Most people know this. It's not. I tell people all the time. What I do is not something everybody can't do themselves.
Yeah.
It's a time factor and an efficiency factor.
Yeah.
How good and efficiently can it get done?
Right.
So, but it really is add value. There's no replacement for good content. Good content is always going to outperform bad content with all the money behind it.
Right.
Because it's just inherently good. People will interact with it.
Right.
So
and that's where you build those metrics, is behind that good content. Yeah. So that's the key, is if I don't care about metrics, just post good content, and it's going to organically build the metrics.
It's going to go hand in hand.
Right.
Yeah,
the metrics are obviously important.
You don't have to be a like chaser. You don't have to be a like, like, oh, I didn't get enough likes on that post.
I'm going to delete that one.
It's not. That's not super important. You're right. And I would actually be the one like, who cares? That one didn't do great, but you hit all your targets. You're keeping up on your relevancy, and that's big in the algorithm. As a lot of people do know, some people don't understand, but there's a frequency. We have a few hundred followers, let's just say, on our Facebook, right? If you saw every post from every person all day, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You would never get through it.
Right.
So Facebook is minimizing what they show you.
Right.
And it's what they think is relevant to your current day. And that's based on how often you interact.
Right.
So in our world, we're trying to get people to interact with posts, because that is a huge boost in the relevancy score.
100%.
So that next thing I serve, that next post, they see it again.
Yeah.
And that's where more of the focus is at.
Right.
So metrics aren't hugely applicable there. They're good.
Right.
It's good to be aware.
Yeah.
But getting that interaction, that engagement, so that way I'm staying up on the relevancy, I'm getting things in front of them more, I'm building more brand recognition with them. That is like the real goal. It doesn't take hundreds of thousands to do that, though.
So I think we're saying the same thing, just with a different mindset of, rather than posting something and thinking, man, this pad of paper is going to get 1,000 likes. It's, man, this pad of paper is going to help 1,000 people, and automatically then 1,000 people are going to engage or like, or just, and then it builds the relevancy, which then they'll see your next post, and then if you come in with the same mindset of, this is going to help a lot of people, then it just naturally builds and kind of snowballs.
Yep.
Right?
And that's true. I mean, that really is how that goes. I mean, early on in this industry, there was a lot of pay us for 50,000 followers, pay us for 100,000 followers.
Still very prevalent too.
Still very prevalent.
Yeah.
Most people and most professionals have come to realize that is not helping anything. Mm-hmm. That big boost in your metrics actually does nothing to the bottom line.
Other than when you want to sell your house, I come up and I'm like, look, I got 50,000 Instagram followers. That's all attention for your house.
That's a thing. Mm-hmm. I can see that. That's absolutely a thing.
That's it. I see it all the time. And I can always tell because you got 2,000 followers on Instagram and you got 3 likes on the last picture you posted. Which, like I said, I don't care about metrics, but it's like, how do you have 50,000 people seeing it? Or we'll call it 5,000 people seeing it and only 3 people liked it.
Yeah.
Ghosts.
Something's off there.
The ghosts.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, that's absolutely relevant, but the results don't show in that situation. You know, if you did the 50,000 to the 5,000 comparison, but we looked at the 5,000 as the people who are like really putting thought into their content, even if they're posting once every other week, but that post is like
crisp,
on point. They thought it out. They thought about the imagery or the video. They looked into some hashtags. You know, hashtagging is a little weird on Facebook, but because of the interaction between Instagram and Facebook, kind of do it anyways.
Right. So I'm going to go off on one more little tangent, and then we're going to switch roles here.
Yeah.
You just said something that I think is super important that Gary Vee says all the time, and that's if you only post every other week and it's crisp, right? That makes me think of most of the time people don't want to post anything because it's not perfect. Right? So what would you say about the quality of your posts?
Oh, now you're getting into being a creative though. Because now that is the creative struggle right there. Is it good enough? It's never good enough.
Never.
It will never be good enough.
Hours and hours and hours and
that's
you
the
look
struggle,
like you're about to shut down.
It's like
mic drop.
That's just something that everybody has to personally overcome.
Yeah.
You have to just put it out there.
Yeah.
When we curate our own content, we build our own content, we're editing our own stuff, we're writing our own posts, doing our own design and graphics. Any of that creative stuff, we're never happy with it. We're always working on it. Ask any painter, ask anyone in traditional media, photographers. They could point out 1,000 errors in the most perfect piece they've ever done, and they'll show you 1,000 errors in it.
Which should tell you that just post.
Yeah.
Just post.
Just do it.
Like,
don't overthink it. Like it's funny because no, think about it. Be strategic, but don't overthink it. Just do it.
Right. I think the content in there is important, but as far as like the quality of the finishes, lighting, sound, camera, like they're important, and they shouldn't be what holds you back to posting.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Or the most important thing, this shouldn't hold you back from posting.
Yep.
Like your mindset of like, it's not good enough.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Post it.
It really is
Post
true.
it.
If you're looking at it from a technology standpoint, and there's any one thing you want to get right with your technology, let's say you're doing videos or podcasts like this, it's the audio. You could have the grainiest, worst video on the planet, but if your audio is on point, people will still deal with it.
Crisp.
But you could have HD 4K, and if you got crappy audio, people are tuning out instantly.
So what about, that's long form, I agree with you. Short form, I'd say 70% of people don't even turn on the audio. We're reading captions.
Yep.
So,
and I think that number is actually like in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a measured number on how many people actually unmute the video in their feed. And there's entire, I mean, I don't know if you've seen these, but there's entire marketers out there, and that's their whole angle too. Is like, we're a caption company. We're gonna make caption videos for you.
Let me tell you, it's a very needed skill.
Absolutely.
Because adding captions can take a long time.
Absolutely.
Like you want me to type out a 3-minute video? That's 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
Because I got to figure out exactly how to say where the periods, and even like when Facebook automatically generates them, like Jesus, Facebook, it looks like me writing a blog post. Come on, man.
Yeah, it doesn't always work the greatest, but I mean. So I mean, if you're back to the very original question, right? Like, I'm new. I just got up here. What am I doing?
You're reading my mind, and I want to take it away from real estate just because we've been talking about real estate. Let's talk about just some random business. So we're selling T-shirts, and I am starting day one. Let's call it day zero. We're not even starting yet, but we want to develop a plan, a marketing plan in order to get our business off the ground.
Yeah.
So I come to Bobby Burns and I'm like, yo,
What do I do?
day one, let's market all the way through in order to sell 500 t-shirts this year or whatever that metric is. How do we start? Give me like the 3 or 4 or 5 steps of what are we doing?
Well, first of all, it's writing a 1-page paper on what this business is, because so much of what's up here is hard to explain to people.
Yeah.
We could sit down and you could start having that conversation, and 5 hours later we have gotten through nothing. You know?
Yeah.
So get something on paper, get it down, game plan.
There's someone, I want to say it's the Houston Rockets owner, that says if you come and pitch him a business and it can't fit on the back of a note card, get out of here.
Yep.
Get out on the back of the note card, then come back.
Yep.
It's got to be that.
I mean, and it's your pitch anyways. It's the pitch that will be with you the next 30 years as you go through this business. It's that pitch you're always going to regurgitate.
Yep.
But you get it down on paper, then you have that conversation.
Okay.
How do I bring this into the market?
Okay.
This is my idea. How do I bring this to market? And
So
then from there, it's
that's my idea. My little business card thing is I want to help people build generational wealth through their family or for their family through real estate.
Okay.
So that's what I want to do. Focus on education and real estate to help people specifically invest and make better decisions when they buy that house. That's my goal.
Yeah. Well, you're building a brand first of all, obviously, right? You know, you have to have some sort of image that people can associate.
Okay.
Even if you're not even looking for leads and clients yet, you want to start getting some sort of imagery into their head. That way, when you do have that conversation for the first time, there's going to be something that triggers, even if it's minuscule, but something says, "Where did I know this guy from?" And then it's an awkward end. It's a weird thing.
I'm building a personal brand. Do you think it should be a headshot, or do you think it should be a logo?
That's an interesting one, actually, because
Have you seen mine?
yeah, absolutely.
That's for you. We'll let you keep that.
It is really good though. I think that question is answered in more long-term goal.
Okay.
So if the long-term goal is to represent a team in a business, then I'm going to say we're going to present the business first and the agent second.
Okay.
If it is, no, this is me, people buy me, which is extremely common in real estate, right? Then we present you and then the brand second.
Okay.
You know, so there's questions, and how you answer that is obviously how the decision's made.
Right.
So let's say we're looking at a business, you know, because if you want to create generational wealth and use real estate as the means to do that, you can do that yourself as just, you know, your personal brand. But I suspect at some point either the incomes and the properties that you're working with are going to move into a price point of 7 figures.
Okay.
You know, I mean, we're talking in generational investments here.
Right.
These are 7-figure investments, typically, I would think.
Yeah, over time.
Over time, absolutely. You have to be that, right? You have to represent that you handle that level of real estate.
Right, because that's a lot of money.
It's hard to do that as an individual.
Okay.
It's hard to show that you have the backing, the knowledge, the foundation as a one-man show. Now it's more beneficial to present a team, to present an entire team of people that's put together, an entire business entity that's put together for this need.
Okay.
I have the power, you know? I have this whole team. You get me, and that could be, you know, maybe it's your name on the business. Who knows?
Right.
But it's presenting the capabilities that are going to make sure your client in terms like, I feel confident these people know what they're doing, and that me making some of the largest investments in my life through them and with them isn't going to go south on me.
Right.
Because that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
We brought it up a few times now, and I think it really hits on it though, and it's the Gary Vee, right? He's got a personal brand, and so you build trust in Gary Vee, but then you go to his business of VaynerMedia.
Different situation.
Right, and he's not even involved. Like you don't get him. Like he's the guy, right?
Yeah.
He calls himself the bat phone, so you still get that education, and you have this system behind it of like, this is our full 900-person team that's going to help your business with what we promised, not just me, one guy.
And and even with what Gary Vee's doing, his personal brand, it works with what he is doing personally, even though a lot of it ancillarily promotes, Vader Media. It's Vader?
Vayner.
Okay.
Yeah. It'd be cool if it was
But
Vader, though.
that would be really cool. Vader Media. Write that down. But it's also promoting him being a speaker.
Okay.
Him getting paid to do these events and stuff. And so there is a level of brand promotion and
100%.
self-promotion needed there because it fits with his goals of what he's personally doing.
Right.
If he wasn't doing all that, we wouldn't see Gary Vee.
True. We would just see Vayner Media taking over the marketing industry.
Yep.
Okay, so first note card, right? Back of a note card, your business. Then decide where you want to take it, but based on the back of the note card, and figure out if you want to push a brand, or as far as business brand or a personal brand, like your face.
Yep.
Okay.
And maybe it's a two-part. Maybe it starts personal because that's the reality and the means, and then with the long-term goal of building a team. Okay. Which I think would probably be common in a lot of industries.
100%. Yeah. At the end of the day, like you can start by yourself, but if you have any sustained growth, you're not going to be able to finish by yourself. You're going to have to leverage some of that out.
But you know this going in. It's already forethought.
Right.
So you're already going to build the brand and the entity, but while also building your personal brand. And you're going to kind of always be working on both simultaneously because you knew going into it that was your long-term goal. Right.
In Keller Williams, we call it E to P, which is entrepreneurial to purposeful. And if you come in just entrepreneurial, we're all great, right? We all get in there and we have gumption and we're going to get it growing. But eventually, if you don't come in with a plan, you're going to hit a ceiling of growth, right? Until you break a system and recreate it in order to get past that ceiling. And then guess what? You're going to hit another one.
You're going to hit another one and another one. Yep.
Right. So if you come in with this as the goal, these ceilings are a lot easier to break through rather than coming with a, oh crap, what are we going to do here? Oh crap, what do we, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of that step ladder thing.
Yeah, you're not being reactive to the hurdles, and that's probably the best position to be in, right? Where it's this hurdle's anticipated, we knew we were going to have it happen, and we already know when this time comes, we're hiring 3 people. Yeah, that is how we're overcoming this hurdle.
Then it's no sweat, even mentally, like you're prepared for it. It's no sweat. If you go in to try and buy a $500 house, the $100,000 house that you buy ahead of that is going to be like, this is nothing. It's just a stepping stone to where we're going to get here. Then we're going to get here, then we're going to get here.
Yep. So, I mean, it is all a stepping stone. Everything is how do I get to that goal the most efficiently. Okay. And, like, for me, it's always, like, with the best, within your budget. Okay. Right? You know, because people hate hearing it, but I'm like, how much money do you want to spend? What's your budget? It's probably a little easier question to ask in real estate, maybe, but in my industry, it's people look at me and they're like, whatever I tell you, you're going to spend. So, give me side eyes, and they're like, But the reality is, it defines everything that's happening. Everything we do, every decision I make is defined by the budget. I mean, that's just the industry, though. That's just how that goes.
So let's get into the nitty gritty. Yeah. Like, now we have it. Now we're ready. We have all our plans set up. Now we're ready to start marketing. We're on day 1 now.
You've built all your collaterals now. You have a logo. You have business cards. You have probably a brochure. I recommend not doing trifolds. Trifolds are dated. They don't feel nice. Nice little postcards. Okay. Quick hitter messages. A couple big headlines. Okay. Something eye-catching. Use bright colors. Have fun. Okay. Especially if you're doing mailers. Okay. Mailers are a tough one. I hate recommending them. It's a tough one.
I wanted to push back as soon as you said it.
It works a little bit.
I feel like mailers is very similar to what you can do on social media to build a brand. You're not going to sell anything off one mailer, but if you do one mailer per month for a whole neighborhood to sell real estate, to give everyone a just sold or just listed or updated, after 12 months you're going to have a brand inside that neighborhood, and a few of those neighbors are going to call you because you're the one that keeps sending them mailers all the time, right? Especially the most important thing, it's got to be eye-catching. Yeah. Because when was the last time you carefully sifted through your mail and read everything? So if there's one thing that pops up, you're like, oh, who's this? Who's this guy? He looks like a clown. That's crazy. Next, 12 months later, you're like, oh, I know that guy.
Tactical. I mean, we get a little specific, but when we're talking like mailers or anything that's going to go in front of somebody that's something they're going to touch, put effort into it. You know, make something nice. Because when I'm flipping through and I have like this folded up magazine ad and then this giant freaking card for some politician, I'm just like, throw it, junk, and this one comes out. I'm like, oh, this is nice. Wow, they put some effort into this. Who's this?
Who's this? Ah, that's cool. Trash.
Maybe, but that little extra attention means that brand is going to be recognizable in my mind more than any other one that I just threw in the garbage. Also,
yes, over time.
Over time,
Right.
Immediately.
If I send one quality velvet mailer to you, in 6 months, you're gonna remember that velvet mailer?
If that was it, nope.
Right,
Absolutely
and that's what I'm
not.
trying to say here. Over 6 months, if we get one velvet mailer every month, and it doesn't have to be velvet, but one quality mailer every time, because velvet mailers, that would get expensive, I feel like.
I mean, it goes back to the 33 touch points. The touch points are nothing new. You know, that's been in business. Anyone who went to school for business, they've heard the shit regurgitated to them.
Right.
That's because that's just the reality. That's how it works.
Yeah.
We kind of look at branding as a very similar situation. We don't actually make physical touches, but if we can put our logo in front of you 33 times in a month or 33 times in a year, I mean, honestly, 33 times a month is a little bit more realistic for just putting
Especially
a brand.
in the day of social media.
Yes, exactly.
Because you're hitting each Instagram, and we can get into this after we break down this plan, but it's contextualized. I'm going to take this, and what I post on Instagram, right now I'm not quite there yet, but what I post on Instagram shouldn't be the same thing I post on Facebook, shouldn't be the same thing I post on LinkedIn or my podcast or anything in between. Like,
that
it
is true.
Contextualized for the older demographic on Facebook,
Yep.
the 25 to 16-year-olds on Snapchat, you know what I mean? Like, they want to hear different things.
That is true. That is really true. And then that's what comes back to the time factor. You know, people don't have the time in their professional lives to accomplish all that.
Yeah.
It's a lot, man.
Yeah.
And when you're new, if we're going back to that analogy, and I'm the new guy in the industry, you got all the time in the world right now. You have no clients. Until you got some clients, you got all the time in the world.
Right.
But when you're carrying a client load, and you're running a business and you're working in and on your business as it is, curating good content to all those platforms isn't reality.
Right.
Not unless you have people in place to accomplish that, or you're working with another business.
We were on the same page, because I was going to say, if you come in expecting, like, I want my core marketing strategy to be a content marketing strategy where I'm doing all this curating Facebook posts, then I get busy. Guess what? Then I bring in someone to leverage that out, whether it's someone I hire or it's someone like Alapex, where I come in and I'm like, yo, this is what I'm doing. I want you guys to do it, and I want you guys to do it better than I was, because now I'm paying you to do it.
And that is a reality.
Growth.
Yeah,
right.
That is a reality, and that is how that would have to happen, because your time is going to become needed in other directions.
Showing houses, selling houses, like doing what your actual business.
Let's say you already have clients, or you are in a situation where you do have a business you are already working in and on, but you also are your marketing team and your accountant. You are the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
By definition. What's the best way to put your efforts, and where do you put your efforts there? You just Facebook. We're in Alaska. Alaska has the biggest uptake in Facebook.
There it is.
I mean, we have the broadest demographic coverage on Facebook up here. So just pick one and go with it.
And we haven't talked at all about it, and we're getting into the money spending now, but the ad platform on Facebook changed a little bit for real estate.
Yeah. It's actually changed a lot in the past 6 months.
And it's stupid still, though. Like, it's crazy the amount of people you can touch on Facebook.
Yeah, okay, that's what you... I thought... They're like, it's stupid, it doesn't work. I was like,
good.
okay...
Yeah, it's amazing. It's crazy.
It's stupid. It's stupid good.
The most powerful ad platform we've ever had, ever.
So I actually, just last week, I had to look this up because Facebook's been doing really well lately in the paid world, in the paid ads world. And I'm like, who's getting more conversions? Who converts more traffic from lead to sale? And that's a measurable metric if it's all set up right, if all the tools are in place.
Right.
Like,
Who is between, you're comparing social platforms? Or
no, between Facebook or Google.
Oh. Okay.
What would you think?
Facebook.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is Facebook astronomically more.
Right.
Because it's convenience. I can shop on Facebook. And this is like when you were talking about conversion metrics, sales like product sales is the easiest thing to measure. Mm-hmm. It's like shop, bought, done. Right. That converted.
I think the reason why it's converted better on Facebook is because Google is intent based. If you want something on Google, you go and find that exact thing.
Yeah, you go through a search process first.
On Facebook, we got stuff like the Wish app that's like, meh.
Drop it right in front of your face, even when you don't want it.
Yeah.
Even when you don't want it, it drops it right in front of your face.
Or, like we talked about before, we get the retargeting, where if I post any kind of random anything, right, not even real estate related, and I drive you to my Facebook page or my website and then retarget you with real estate information, it's a common brand that you've seen now, right? And so it's not necessarily, it is kind of intent-based, but not as intent-based as Google.
And yes, especially in that situation. Now, I know within our business, we see far higher numbers and measurable conversions in the Google playing field.
Okay.
I think a lot of that is because the budgets required to really go and do good with Facebook without just doing it yourself is a lot more than what people can justify.
When you leverage it out, because it's, like you said, it's a lot of work. It's every single day. You're posting multiple times a day, engaging with everyone on those posts, posting in the groups, like posting, engaging all the time. For someone else to do that,
it is really, it can get really spendy really quick. Right. But that's where we come up with like, okay, well, you know, maybe it's a joint venture. You know, you leverage out some of it, the more what we call filler content, you know, the stuff to keep you up on your relevancy score, but you're not actually anticipating the highest level of engagement from.
Right.
The, it's a nice spring outside pictures, you know, things like that, or fall. A lot of times that's where companies can step in and really take that weight off and do auto scheduling and all that kind of stuff. And then that way you only are looking at having to do a smaller portion of it.
See, what I've always thought of, and this goes back to planning for the future of, like, I want to keep this, I really enjoy doing this. And the part that takes me the most time that I want to leverage out is not this or this setup, but taking this video and breaking it down from one piece of pillar content, like Gary Vee says, into the other 100 pieces of content that I'm going to post out. So leverage that piece out where Bobby Burns can take this one video, break it down 100 times, and then I just have the content to post throughout, right? But I'm not doing that media background work that's really, I don't know if you've seen my videos, but they're crap anyway.
Well, and
so they look better and it saves time.
It's funny because the industry's in a weird place right now where everyone understands the value of video content, but as soon as we start shopping it, they're like, how does anyone afford this? Like, oh my God. So to get someone to sit down and edit your videos, you know, someone who's a professional is going to charge you no less than $125 an hour.
Yeah.
No less. And a lot of them want a minimum of 6 hours of work, or else they're not going to take the project.
Yeah.
And that is not justifiable for my social media game.
I'm doing 2 to 3 podcasts a week.
Nobody,
like that's $600 per podcast.
Killing it, right?
Yeah,
killing it. So,
and at that point, let me interrupt you real quick. If I'm paying you $600 per video, and that's on the cheap side, and I'm doing 3 podcasts a week, it just makes more sense at that point to hire my own person, right? And that's it. Once again, we're getting into crazy costs. So I can see how it would be like a. Where do we balance this here?
A lot of in the podcast world, it's a little different because you're constantly producing new content. A lot of what we've been able to do for people is we'll help them put together like 3 or 4 photo series or video series. Okay. And so they're MP3, MP4 files, downloaded, stayed local to their computers. Okay. And then from there, once that media is created, there's a cost to create that media. Yep. And it can be, you know, it can be substantial. Right. But once that media is there, it's then you can do whatever you want with it. Right. And it's usable for the next full quarter or the next half year, you know, depending on how much your industry is changing. That media is now, you know, social media, YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo. You can do Pandora ads, Spotify ads, and you're working with the same piece of content right now. Right. And that can if a medium-sized business is doing that quarterly, they're going to be so far ahead of the game already. 100%. And the reality is, to do that quarterly is going to be a fraction of an average marketing budget. Especially because we're in a market where people are still sending out velvet mailers, man. Yep. Got one the other day, actually. I can't get over it. I'm like, I don't understand. Got one the other day from a real estate professional. Yeah.
And
that's nice.
The problem is it works.
Yep.
It's just not what works the most effectively. That's like.
And I think that answer is not finite for any one person. I would say, and no doubt, I would give you a different strategy than I would give someone next door to you.
100%. My strategy is video. Your strategy might be written words. Someone else's strategy might be pictures.
Right.
But at the same time, where you post those pictures, I think it's very
mini, yeah.
It's like you post those pictures on Instagram, not print it on a mailer and send it out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where like there's different self-awareness is super important, but take that self-awareness and employ it within today's market, not 1995's market.
Or a little bit of both. I mean, there's probably relevancy still.
Uh-huh.
A lot of old marketing techniques haven't gone away. You know, word of mouth is still the best.
100%. And email still works.
Still works.
Direct marketing still works.
Still works.
And I'm a single or a business owner, solo business owner.
Yep.
Where do I deploy that time the best, the most effectively? I'm gonna argue 100% of the time that it's not in mailers or email.
No, I would have to agree. And a lot of that is because there's a cost, and and then the amount of time I do have to put in, I need the most out of it.
Right.
If you have a team and you have someone who is doing just all these things for you, then do it all. You know, hit them all, hit all your touch points. It's fantastic. You know, there's something about what's been told to you when you come in. Like it works. There's no doubt it doesn't work, but be unique. If you can have a niche, right? A little niche, run with it. Use it. You're fortunate enough to have it, to be creative enough to come up with something.
Yeah.
Own it.
Yeah.
It helps separate you in the pack. I've had this conversation with people who want to get into content creation as like a YouTuber, or working in the Twitch, the live stream realms.
Yep.
And I've worked with a handful of these type of people as well, and that conversation is always a little different. I'm like, but what's your angle? What's your niche? How are you any different from anyone
Why
else?
does anybody care what
why
you're
would
doing
anyone
every
care?
day?
I mean, it's a hard question to answer,
Uh-huh.
but it's a good question to ask.
It's the most important question to ask because Gary Vee says it all the time, and I think about it for this all the time. If you're not educating or entertaining, why are you even posting? Like, then it's probably selfish. Is the only other reason, right? If it's not education or entertainment, what's the purpose of it? Right? It's just a little eye candy for yourself to catch a few hundred likes and you're out the door to the next. You know what I mean? And so that's what I think for this and the YouTubers and most content creators. What's the angle?
Yeah.
It's a hard question to answer.
And I mean, it's you're already ahead of the game going into it with an answer, or at least knowing the question and thinking about it constantly. That might be an evolving answer.
Right.
It's the reality. It might be an evolving answer.
Right.
This might be working right now, and an opportunity that lands on your plate might take everything in a different direction one day. Who knows?
So like I told you before, when I first started the podcast, it was stories. 100% stories. Build your stories around the Alaskan business owners. That was my little motto. And it was very successful with building relationships with those specific business owners. Because we're getting deep, right? Now you've told me a lot about yourself. Now we have a little bit more of connection. So that one-on-one, absolutely successful. Engagement on social media, not at all.
Right.
Very, very little. I got a lot of people's moms like, good job, Jimmy. Right? And that's about it. And so that's why we flexed into this where I told you, I don't even know what this is. I'm just talking about shit that I like at this point. And hopefully it adds value. We'll cut it down and hope for the best.
There is some a couple like angles, right, that could potentially like separate. Like, it's the Real Estate Dude podcast. How about some real estate numbers? What's the market looking like?
100%.
You know?
Right.
I would tune in every week for a market update. Yeah. Especially if it's coming out of someone I can connect with more, not a really tight tie, real stiff, stick up the butt person. Yeah. Like, who's been in the industry for 40 years. I'm like, don't get me wrong, no disrespect. I have the utmost appreciation for all my predecessors, but I can connect with this person. This is someone I can, and I want to hear what they got to say. And this is something I'm interested in anyways. Right. You know, like me personally, I love hearing the numbers, you know?
And so that's kind of why I'm flexing with this, and I don't really have an exact plan for it, because it's just shit that I like, and I'm going to build off of the self-awareness of, I'm with you, I like numbers, and it's on my plan already. But like I like wealth building, so let's talk about multifamily too. Let's talk about maybe some rehab loans. Like let's talk about like numbers on that side of it as well. Let's talk about marketing because I like marketing. Let's talk about helicopters because I like helicopters. I'm just gonna kind of blast it out and see where it fits, like where that niche
That's
naturally
cool.
builds in with what I already like to do, because I'm not gonna talk about shit that I don't like.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, the content's going to be better if it's something you're personally
Right.
into.
So would you recommend? Last question. I'm making these videos, right? Right now, I post it all over all the different social medias, and I kind of balance between like I post all of my business page and only share some of it to my personal page, just because I don't want to blow my family up with all my content.
Yeah.
Would you recommend starting, because I don't have one, a real estate group and growing it and posting all of the content there, as long as it's applicable to the group?
I don't think that would actually work that straightforward.
Okay.
One, we kind of, in the conversation, we realized that the group angle works really well because you can easily get people to join groups without having to have a personal connection with them already. So it's really easy to grow a vast network of people you have no clue. And you have this one thing in common, it's whatever the title of that group is.
Yeah.
If you're trying to do like real estate professionals, I think that's going to be really difficult. Unless you have like, oh, this is like the insiders angle.
Right.
This is the insiders group. In which case, everyone's going to be like super competitive in that environment. It's not going to accomplish anything.
I'm thinking more like real estate investing and people that are more interested in real estate investing. So that way when I make a video or I have a conversation with someone and we talk about numbers, then I can cut that out and post that to the real estate investing group so it's contextualized for the demographic.
There is a giant segment of people in our country who work full-time jobs and have careers, but they're like do-it-yourselfers in the investment world, and they have like the apps and stuff like that. They're all about eating up your content. They're looking for someone to tell them what to do.
Right.
And that's like, those are the people.
Yeah.
You know, if you could build a group with those people, and you're always one just plugging them little tidbits.
Especially if the content comes naturally from the podcast that I do, from the people that I interview, or Alaska real estate. That's real quick.
One of your cuts. Check out this from my interview with so and so. It is a great bit on building a Facebook group, and for anyone out there who is in the market, check this out. This might be something that would work. If you can create little highlights like that and inject those into those, oh my god, man, like the traction and the interaction you're gonna get on them.
Yeah.
I'm already like seeing this happen. I'm like, all right, so we have a group. We have all these moms and dads, and they're all in our 30s and 40s, and everyone's like thinking forward now. I'm not a little kid anymore. I'm thinking forward, but I don't have all the liquid cash. How do we do this?
Especially there's so many MLMs out there right now. Like all of those moms and dads and like all stay-at-home parents and stuff like that. All of them are. They're looking for that, and those are people like you said, do it yourself.
That's your group. That's your group right there. Build a big group with those people, and people who are interested, and then when you have a little bit of education, you can plug them. You start plugging them. Yeah. And then when you have
if you have a little bit of education on my podcast, I'm gonna plug you.
Right. But that, in essence, that's how that would look. Those people are going to engage with those videos because. Hell, it's for them as far as they're concerned. Right. It was like, well, I've been looking for this answer forever. I've searched Google 1,000 times. Thank you for this video. Right. Right. And you're gonna get tons of engagement on there. That's great. You could even, and if it does work and you do see engagement, turn around and format it into a paid ad.
100%.
Yeah. I'm like, this one's really working. I'm gonna reclip my intro, make it a little bit more generic, put a nice little title card on the end. Boom, promote it on Google because I want to do it in the YouTube display network. I'm going to promote it in social medias, so I'll do paid ads on Facebook. I'll do paid ads on Instagram. I'd probably leave it at that. Maybe LinkedIn. Again, you get in that professional right demographic.
That one's weird for me because and maybe it's just Alaska, but I don't know anybody that gets bored or is sitting on their phone and scrolls LinkedIn.
No.
I don't think there's a lot of content consumption on LinkedIn in Alaska yet.
Yeah, it's weird though. Talking about LinkedIn, they overhauled their ad platform like hardcore overhauled it 2 years ago.
Yeah, the whole platform. They did the ad platform first, and now the whole
Right.
overall scheme.
Yeah. Part of it, it's like, God, they figured it out, and now I'm in day with ads, and I hate it. I mean, like, hey,
Yeah.
good job, you guys figured it out. Can't stand you now.
Uh-huh.
But no, it's working.
Yeah.
When we run campaigns on LinkedIn, they are comparable to other social medias and the results. And for the amount of money we're spending, we can't deny the results. So if it fits the business and the goals of that business and what we're trying to accomplish,
Right.
then we would absolutely go to LinkedIn
Right.
these days. 3 years ago, there's no way I would have said that.
No way.
I'd have been like, don't you dare spend money in LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Until they get their shit together, don't you dare give them $1. Like,
Yeah.
don't support people that are doing it wrong.
But now, like a real estate team looking for professionals that want to get into real estate, LinkedIn ads, especially if you have quality content behind it, I think could be very successful.
Absolutely.
Very
I mean, it is a
successful.
professional network still.
Right. Right.
So if you are building anything professional or a service to serve B2B or your service-based business, LinkedIn can do you well. There's a local catering company who does phenomenal with their LinkedIn presence.
It makes perfect sense.
It does, because they are getting hit for every single business catering event in the state.
And that's where the professionals are going,
Yep.
right? Like when you're looking for something for your business
Yep.
specifically, you're on LinkedIn. When you're looking for something personally, you're on one of the other Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram,
Yeah.
YouTube, something like that.
That-
Interesting.
Or even
Interesting.
even in the professional world, we might we might stalk a new client or a new hire on their social medias. I'm gonna look at their Facebook, and I'm probably gonna give them the credit that that's their Facebook. Then I'm gonna look at their LinkedIn, and I'm like, that better be so professional, like, because that is the professional platform. I want to see it. I want to see the pro side. You're allowed to be split personality, I think, in today's world. People kind of
Absolutely, because they're different demographics.
Yeah.
Right. You don't talk to your grandma the same way you talk to your buddy.
Nope.
Nope.
for
Everyone's
sure.
always different.
Yeah.
Now we're just exposing that a little bit
Yeah.
more to a lot larger
When you see the
demographics.
overlap, that's when you see the true character, right?
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I would never tell someone to be someone they're not.
No. Yeah.
But you have your professional brand that you're presenting as an individual,
Right.
and then you have you.
You're not
and your
changing
family,
yourself. You're just
and
changing your delivery. That's it. Like the true blue stays the true blue.
Yep.
Honestly, we're gonna go back to Gary Vee again. I love that he cusses all the time.
Yeah.
I love it. It speaks to me first of all, and it's just like I understand a lot of people don't like him because he cusses all the time, but it's who he is.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
that's
not a
it, man.
pretender, right?
Sorry about it. Like bleep it out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, but it's the way I communicate.
Huh?
It's the way I think. So I'm not gonna filter that, or else it's gonna change the message.
Yeah, and you don't have to listen. Nobody has to listen.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, toodaloo.
You know, there for a while he was bleeping out his cuss words.
Yeah.
Just because he tests all kinds of stuff like that. Stopped it almost immediately. He was like, nope, still doing it.
Yeah.
No bleeping, no nothing. We're
I
going.
mean, at that level though, when your content is your business, it's so different because they will put a yellow border around the thumbnail, a blue border around the thumbnail, and a green border around the thumbnail, and they will A/B test that
Yeah.
to see which one interacts.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like that. Just looking at one of the case studies around thumbnails on YouTube. Once it was realized how influential the thumbnail is on generating the clicks and the watches, like those entire classes you could take on how to build thumbnails for YouTube.
It's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
it's insane.
crazy. Niche.
But
It's all niche.
It's all factorable. Once people realize that you change the color and it affects the outcome, then we start seeing what colors work better than other colors. I mean, that's nothing new, but that's the reality. So when you're doing content at that level, the Gary Vee level, right? And that is like all you do, yeah. His designer, he's a thumbnail designer. A guy.
100. He has a 900 person company.
Yeah.
No doubt.
There's someone who just makes thumbnails for a living.
It's real. I got caught into this trap before too of, like I looked at his content and I was like, that's what I want to make. I can't make that, right? And so then I wasn't posting anything. And actually the podcast took a dip because I was like, it's just taking me too long. I can't do everything I want to do and stuff like that. So I stopped doing the podcast. I stopped posting it. There was other changes that needed to happen, but even still, I was like, I can't get it to that level, and so I stopped.
Right.
Now we're back going again, and it's raw again. And it's gonna get better.
I told someone that pretty recently. Another local, she's in my B&I group.
Okay.
She's kind of in an MLM situation.
think I know who you're talking about.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
But one of those people who have broken out of the typical, what you view MLM programs as, and has like, really made it work authentically. And like, no, this is real. The whole corporation aside, what I do right here is real.
Right.
And this product that I show you is real. And so I give that person a lot of credit. A lot of credit. And we've had a lot of conversations about it.
Yeah.
But they were like, I want to do this. I really enjoy live stream, but I don't have all the stuff. I don't have a computer that I'm going to be able to edit.
Right.
Don't worry about none of that. Hold your phone out, click record, or go live, and talk. If you want to do it, do it. And if people want to listen, they'll listen.
Yep.
And it's worked.
The thing is, they're not going to listen at first.
No.
They're not going to listen after 6 months.
No.
Eventually, though, you're going to strike a chord, and it's going to grow.
One title or one guest will spark an interest in that one person, and then they'll watch that one episode.
Right.
And they're like, oh, that was kind of good.
Yeah.
And then they'll tune in next week.
Or they'll follow you, and they'll get a trickle, and then you'll get a good one, and so you'll do a paid ad, and they'll see it a trickle again. Yep. Slowly but surely. And
that was exactly how I came upon. Oh man, I'm having a brain fart about it. But a big YouTuber who does the news, and he's really popular because he's like, it's just like, just jump. Literally, he says, "Let's just jump right in." What the hell, Philip DeFranco?
Okay.
I don't know if you've. And a lot of people, I don't necessarily like the guy's opinions. I like the delivery.
Okay.
You know? And so that's exactly how that happened. One clip on the internet somewhere caught me one time, and I was like, huh, interesting. I'm gonna go watch some of his videos on YouTube. And then before I know it, I was subscribing.
Yeah.
And then I was unsubscribing a little bit later because I was like, well, I don't like it anymore. But I mean, that's par for the course. You know, people change, their outlooks change. Followers come and go. You know, you can't take that by heart if you're the creator, but but that was exactly how that happened. You know,
just being out there. One, putting yourself out there, and two, over time you get mind share.
Yep.
Over time, it just takes time.
You can't be found if you're not putting yourself out there.
Right. And that's why in real estate, I take this, I call this my marketing side, where it's all posting content, doing content marketing and stuff like that. It's really overall brand recognition and building a brand.
Yeah.
Then I have another side that I call my sales side, and that's Bobby Burns is in my database. And I have a systematic way to make sure that we communicate, right? Because every relationship to me is important. And there's no way I can manage 800 relationships off the top of my head. And so that's my sales side of just making sure that your real estate needs are taken care of. And not over the top, right? I'm not calling you every week to ask if you want to buy or sell a piece of real estate, but twice or 3 times a year, we get in touch and like, hey, let's talk about real estate. What's going on? And so that's the sales side of, and we're managing both of these at the same time. So that way I got now business in the sales side, because eventually I'm going to call you and be like, actually, I was thinking about that. Then I'm coming over. Right, and then we got the marketing side that hopefully over time is getting me phone calls to bring business as well.
Yeah, but why both of those things are happening, that's just the marketing. That's just one aspect of the business. It becomes so much so fast, and it's something we've, in our B&I group, we've started saying quite a bit. It's like, you know, success is great when you work for it, but then the reality is you just create a lot more work for yourself.
Right.
It's like, man, now I gotta do all of this.
No, 100%. They say
in
the real estate industry, they say lead generation is what they call it. Marketing sales, they call it lead generation, because it's the most important thing. Like if I'm not reaching out to people, I'm not touching people and having conversations about real estate, I'm not going to sell any fucking houses. Right? 0%. And so every day you dedicate 3 hours a day towards the lead generation. Then you have the rest of the day for whatever else that is. Business servicing or running transactions or going to classes or increasing your craft or anything like that. But 3 hours a day you need to spend on this because it's super important.
And when it works,
any more houses,
then you have another 8 hours after that because now you got a ton of work.
It's super common actually in real estate because often it's solo business owners where it's like, I got all this time to market. Oh shit, I got business. We're closing business. Oh shit, I don't have any business coming. And in real estate, it's we're 60 days away. If you tell me you want to buy a house today, I'm not getting paid, and that business isn't closing, and you're not getting into a house until 60 days. Because we got to get you pre-approved, then we got to find the house, then we got to go through the transaction. So, woohoo! I got a whole bunch of business. Oh shit! I don't have any business. I got to get back into marketing. all the meanwhile your business is falling because you haven't been doing it. And so
Yeah.
it's the roller coaster that, man.
Yeah, there is a level of consistency that we do preach quite a bit to people.
Yeah.
Even when business is good, don't stop your marketing efforts. You can pull back. Quite frequently, you know, this quarter I might have a large marketing effort. Next quarter, I might have substantially less. You know, it's not that I'm going to stop my marketing effort. It's just that in anticipation of the buildup coming in. Let's say your industry is very seasonally affected. Thank you. You know, you might know coming into winter that it is your slow period, and you've seen this, you know, 3 or 4 years in a row, and this is when I do my marketing because in winter it hits and it hits good, and we kill it. That's great, but don't stop marketing when you're killing it. Don't stop, because then you're just all that buildup you did. It just goes to waste.
Right now it's draining, and you're not adding anything to the pool.
Yep, you got to keep it going. You got to keep it level. You can pull back a little bit and kind of go to a nice median, where it's like, you know, I'm doing minimal efforts.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to push back on you where I think you have a system. That's your floor, is your system. My system is doing this podcast, breaking it down, and running a database, right? Those are the two things that I do. And then maybe if I'm slow, I trickle in some open houses here and there, or some other things like that. Right.
Yep.
But at the very minimum, no matter how busy I am, I'm doing 3 hours a day running my database and running these podcasts, content creation.
Exactly.
Right. And so there's never a pullback. There's always just the floor of like, this is the minimum I do, and every once in a while, if I'm slow, I'll add the increased business. But I'm always here.
And that's the way to do that. That's the way to do it. Establish that baseline first. Get really good at it.
Right.
You know, make that baseline effort work for you.
Right.
And then anything you add to it is just that. You're adding to it. And maybe it's good for this time of year. Maybe a new opportunity landed. But whatever that baseline is, it should be consistent and it should continue. You know, it should just keep going.
Yeah.
So if your baseline is I spend $1,200 a month on Google ad placement just for display and YouTube, and I just want to be relevant in a few pretty major keyword metrics or something, I'm gonna put a little bit of money there. Facebook, man, my company and my post, I do really good on Facebook. You know, this is, I do good enough. I think I should put a little bit of money here. You know, not a lot. I'm gonna give that $50 a month. You know, not a whole lot, just a little bit of paid effort. You know, Instagram, I just copy a lot of my Facebook posts. I'm not really putting effort in Instagram. I'm not gonna stick. I'll keep doing it. Right. But I'm not gonna stick money there.
Right.
LinkedIn, man, I got this new service or I got this new package. It's ancillary. It's a B2B thing.
B2B.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I think LinkedIn is where I need to push this new thing. And you know, actually, I'm gonna take $500 from that Google effort even, and I'm gonna move it over here to LinkedIn, and we're gonna do some A/B testing, and we're gonna see where I can get better conversions at. And then in a month, maybe I'll move that money back around.
Right. All playing with it, but like you said, there's a floor. There's always this.
I'm still doing it.
$1,200, no matter where it is. We're testing, but it's always here trying to figure out where to get the best ROI on that $1,200.
Exactly, and that is literally what I do in the company. Like that's what I'm doing at Alapex. You know, we are a digital marketing firm now.
Okay.
The company started out websites. Stephen, our developer, another developer, and then the company owner Kyle Fox. They are Kyle has a background in UI/UX development. Okay. So the actual interface that we interact with in any digital environment. Okay. And then you have the development side of that. Those guys are good. They're good.
That's
they're really good.
I have no idea even how to start. I'm gonna see a black screen with green letters, and I'm like,
literally. I do the same thing. I'm like, I don't know why you can stare at that all day. But it's a situation where we're fortunate to have them in Alaska, to have that kind of talent up here in Alaska. Right. And that's the reality. Right. Talent like that's high in demand. Big companies will swoop up guys like that in a heartbeat. But you know, some people just really like where they're at and don't want to leave. Yeah. And we're lucky enough to work with those people.
Keep them here.
You know? So websites were really the company's bread and butter. We did KTVA, the State Fair. The company started like on the back of very, very good contracts.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Kyle was very fortunate with his relationships with the agencies in Anchorage and stuff. And so for the first few years of the company, we were really the developers. We were the backbone to a lot of the agencies.
Yep.
A lot of the agencies sell the marketing, they sell the strategy, but then all the design and development subcontracted out.
Got it.
Super common. And then it got to the point where we were the subcontractors for every agency in the state, it seemed like.
Yeah. You're like, whoa, slow down.
Yeah, like, this is great. You know, no one complains when like you just have plates of projects coming at you. You don't have to do the legwork to get them.
Right.
But then, you know, we started to build our own legs and kind of started standing on our own 2 feet a little bit. You know, brand development projects came in where we're not even interested in a website, but we love your guys' design work. You know, let's work on a brand. And then, you know, branding and websites. And then, you know, social media started growing that.
Right.
And then the inevitable thing from that was, well, you know, I need to know how to run campaigns, digital campaigns from the ground up.
Right.
I'm already like ahead of the curve in the strategy thinking because it's innate with me. It's how I think anyways. I've never been someone who's been pitched to. I see the pitch.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, that goes back to the Budweiser commercial in '84. The Mac, the first Mac commercial in 1984 during the Super Bowl that they only ever aired one time. You know, I saw it and I was like, oh, messaging, break out of the crowd, don't be a sheep. You know?
Yeah.
And other people didn't see the messaging like I saw it.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I've always had that angle.
Right.
I see that.
Right.
But,
so,
I don't know.
I don't know if you heard the beep. That's the GoPro running out of memory card.
Oh, shit.
Because it's not YouTube Live. Luckily, we're on Facebook Live, so we're still golden. Someone said something too.
I can talk a lot.
I don't know what it says. You got glasses on.
I can't see it.
We'll figure it out. Okay, so 2 more questions. We'll wrap this up.
Okay.
We're getting real close to 2 hours. The first question is, if you could leave whoever watches this with one thing, and that one thing could be whatever you want it to be. It could be a piece of advice. It could be super selfish. It could be what you dreamt about last night. Literally, wherever you want to take it. On Facebook Live, I normally get like somewhere 2,500 people, and that's just engagement, or not engagements. It's a reach.
Right.
So if those 2,500 people actually stop to watch it, and you could give them one thing, what would that one thing be?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Like
Nike.
Yeah, I know, it's so cliche. It's so...
One thing, Bobby Burns, you like, what's the most cliche thing I can say
thing
right now?
Just do it. But no, that is the reality. And every single person who ever experienced success will tell you, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, like, it's cliche, and we've heard it 1,000 times because it is that true.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about starting a business, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, if you want to do anything, you just got to do it, man.
Just do it.
Just and we're super fortunate in today's world. We have unlimited knowledge at our fingertips.
Right.
So there is no excuse anymore.
I don't know what that was. And one last thing, Gary Vee says it all the time. I can't stop talking about Gary Vee. I sound like a little fangirl. You, with your cell phone, have a more powerful computer than Ronald Reagan ran the whole country with in whenever he was president, because it was before I was born. Actually, I think he was president when I was born. Anyway, you have more information and more powerful computer than he ran the whole fucking country with. So the amount of opportunity you literally have at your fingertips is crazy. So like you said, just do it. Like the only thing stopping you now is you.
Yeah, and that is so true.
Yeah.
So true. And it's we beat ourselves up a little bit because of it. But really, like, pick up your phone. If you want to make money from home, there's 1,000 different ways to do that. If you want to go out and mow lawns to make some cash this weekend, you can make a Facebook post, put your number out there, and you don't even have to go knock on doors as much. You can just go
Flip
with
Life.
the people.
Have you heard of it? The Flip Life. The Gary Vee Flip Life. He talks about it all the time.
Well, I'm not familiar with that one.
You go garage sailing, you find stuff, and resell it on eBay. Right?
Or in Facebook Marketplace these days.
Offer up, Facebook Marketplace, garage sales, wherever you can find someone selling something on the cheap, and then you take it to eBay. Even with eBay costs and shipping costs, a lot of the times, someone sells a tub of Matchbox cars for $20, and one of those cars is $20. You just paid for the whole tub, now the rest of it is profit. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You can always make a little bit more money.
There's always
opportunities crazy, and that's just one example. That's the Gary Vee example, but there's a million different opportunities out there where you can do the same thing.
The phone analogy I like was our phones have, 10 times the computing power than the entire system that sent the first shuttle to the moon.
It's crazy.
So like I'm like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, and this little guy right here.
We don't even have 5G yet. It's crazy.
It's fun.
Okay, Bobby Burns. If anybody watches this or anybody watches any of the other content that I break out of this and they have questions for you, what's the best method of getting a hold of you?
Social media. Because honestly,
if that wasn't the answer, I would have kicked you right out. Like, get out of here.
Social media, you can hit me up on any of the social medias. It's Bobby B or Bobby B Designs on Instagram. The company is Alapex Interaction Design.
Okay.
So we're alapexid.com.
Okay.
You can find me anywhere you would expect to be able to find me.
Okay. And is it always Bobby B?
Yep. Okay. Bobby B, Bobby Burns, or look up the company. Okay. I've always kept my name pretty forward and pretty up front, especially once I realized it rolled well and it sounded well.
You got a built-in brain.
One person, one time, this lady goes, Bobby Burns, that sounds so nice coming off the tongue. And I was like 16. I was like,
yes, it does.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, it does. All right. Roll with it.
Man. All right, man. I appreciate you doing
Thank
this.
You. It's fun.
Thank you. Until next time, we'll have to get you on again.
Yeah,
once we get this podcast popping. So the weird thing about this,
bye everyone.
It always